I always had two passions from my childhood. The one was photography, because I understand from the age of 13 that I could show the beauty and I could really bring the whole story of the humanity to others. So the title, as you see, Engineering the Wounded Soul, it's coming from my love for the photography in the beginning. I chose to do photography for the humanity, and my second passion, architecture. From the very young childhood, I was making buildings. I was choosing from the wood, working the wood, and bringing the thing that it was in imagination, building it. But sometimes, 45 years ago, I decided to quit architecture and concentrate all my life to the photography. Photographing the reality, photographing what is happening in front of my eyes. And I start from 45 years ago, roaming the whole world, looking for the human stories, looking for the beauty of the humanity, searching it among the normal people, but also bringing the landscapes, the love of the nature, the love of globe, the love of our Mother Earth to us, and the people. Everything around us is beauty. And as a photographer, I wanted to show it. Soon, starting traveling around the world, I realized that there are things happening that I can show to the world that people, they don't see it. In my travel, I start seeing refugees, people who have lost everything, and they have to take care of themselves or what is remaining from their families. I start understanding what is meaning to be a refugee. Then I also encountered the famine. I encountered people who were dying of hunger in a world that destroys 50% of his food on the garbage bin, and other part of the humanity, people dying of the hunger. I went through the destructions. I saw cities destructed by the wars and conflict. I saw the human history totally erased through the wars, through the conflict, through the people who wanted to erase the neighbors. I went to see how buildings collapsing. And as an architect, I always had an eye to this destruction in the whole things that happening in the war. Not only the war, but also the human hatred, destroying the other culture, destroying the other's heroes. This was what I was seeing in the war and conflict zones. But then also I saw people who coming and building refugee camps. organization that coming and taking care of the refugee people, doctors, Doctors Without Borders, Médecins du Monde, Pharmaciens Sans Frontières, all of them, United Nations, all of them helping those people. But then I start thinking, why those destruction? Why those wars? Why millions of people are being killed? That comes to my mind. That's come that the real reason why humanity, we are losing, we are destroying, we are bombing the human souls, because technology without soul is just faster destruction. So in 1990, after 10 years of being in all war zone and conflict, I thought that maybe I should leave the photography, and I became a humanitarian. I became United Nations consultant and director of operation in north of Afghanistan. I took 10,000 workers and I started rebuilding everything that was destroyed by war. It takes me 1 year thinking about what I can see, what I have seen, all the 10 years of the war and conflict that I have been through. Then the first things came in my mind, being with those people, was the following. The war, the conflict, the disasters create two different destructions. Two different destructions. The one that we can see, that we can show, is the physical destruction, is the one that I showed earlier, the buildings that are destroyed, the infrastructure that are destroyed, the human body that is destroyed half. These are the physical destruction. Then I realized that there is another one, a hidden destruction, which is much more important. It is much more deep, much more disturbing, and this is the trauma. This is what I call the wounded souls. The wounded souls, we don't see it. We don't see what's happening to the people that have been through all those traumas. We don't see what's happening in the heart of this woman that discovered her family member whose eyes was taken out when he was alive. We don't see what's happening inside these people who has seen in Rwanda and Burundi all his family being killed by machetes in front of his eyes. We don't see what this girl from Syria has seen when we looked at her. Or these children. So, observing through my photography, but also always trying to understand what is causing this trouble and how we could help myself as an individual, as someone who is in contact with those people, and find out these two different destruction can do. That's what came to my mind. Informal visual education. What is meaning? I realized that more than 50% of the human knowledge we can transmit through the images. I realized that what, as a 13-year-old child, I have started learning photography is the most powerful tool that we had never invented. That camera is more powerful than any weapons in the world. That camera has the possibility of connecting the humanity together, of showing the thing that we cannot be there, we cannot see it. So what the camera is producing is images. And I start looking back to the history. 5,300 years ago, while the humanities starting to come together, they need a common language. We needed a common language. What was this common language that we invented? What was the common language alphabet that we invented? Was hieroglyph. Then, little by little, it spread and became different languages, different alphabet. But now, you all remember that when the internet was invented, we were talking about the global village. Maybe this two words, it was in the beginning of the internet. We were all talking, wow, we are entering a global village. What is meaning a global village? We need a language. We need a common language. We had it 5,300 years ago, hieroglyph. So what is our humanity's common language now? Still is images. We invented our hieroglyph of our time, you see? We invented the same thing that 5,300 years ago, because we are all connected. We are all people living in one villages. We are all people that are connected. We need a common languages. That's how I took my camera and start using every possible way that I could spread the stories of the humanity that I was seeing. Through the magazines, these are different magazines all over the world. Every places that you can imagine in the past 45 years, every war, every conflict, I was almost there with my camera and being the voice of the voiceless people. Then I realized that books are also another way of spreading the word, spreading the images. I did 40 books. Then, as an architect, I thought that, wow, I need to show more these pictures. And then I realized that the best places are the city walls. But city walls are taken by advertising. Everywhere you go, you see advertising in the metros. So as an architect, I start also creating outdoor exhibition, using every possible places to show these stories to the world. You see in the Paris mayor office, in Spain, in the city of Gijón, in Panjshir Valley in Afghanistan, always using architectures and going to the cities and seeing where I can bring this photography and exhibition to the people. Even in front of the Musée d'Orsay, on 400 meters long, every time I'm looking for different places. I have done 370 outdoor exhibitions in more than 50 countries in the world. Always choosing the places that has an impact on it. And many of time I'm present explaining, but beside this, giving conferences with my photograph, always coming back to the same story that this is our common humanity language, image. And becoming a visual storytelling, using everything possible through the photography. But then I thought, why I'm the only one that showing this? What about the people who are living in a disaster, who are living in the refugee camps, who are living in the poor French banlieues, neighborhoods, or other places? So I start teaching. I start teaching the refugees in refugee camps, and then I created many different centers. In Afghanistan, I helped to launch the first women magazine, the first magazine for the women in Afghanistan I created. Then I launched the first children magazine for the Afghan children. This was the whole what I created in Afghanistan for 20 years. We had a first group of the Afghan women learning how to make the documentaries. Their first documentaries was shown in 20 TV in the world and nominated to Emmy Award. Then I created the whole mobile cinema in the villages, more than 200 villages in Afghanistan, showing educational films. Hundreds of thousands of the people coming and looking to these people that they have never seen an images. That's how the image is transmitting. We had a radio station, Afghan Women Voices. One of our students, Afghan students, photography, after 4 years of trainings, he got Pulitzer Prize, the most important photography prize. But in the same time, I start teaching and trainings in the banlieues, from the Mirail in Toulouse to the 17 banlieues in France, always teaching and training. In Sicily, 100 children in a neighborhood, in Buenos Aires, and always doing the exhibition of their works in Mali, Bamako, or in refugee camps, showing these refugee stories to the children, how they live on it, and then making the exhibition of their works, showing in all the world yet. This is part of these children that showing their works with Antonio Guterres, the General Secretary of UN, coming and visiting them, or in the Parliament of Europe. But what was more important for me was how I could go use internet also to bring the awareness, how I could use photography to make the children get awareness of the ecology. That's how I started Children's Eyes on Earth project, a photography competition for the children of the world, that photographing, I love nature, I fear pollution. That's how this is 8 years old girl, first prize winning, Russian. I love nature, I fear pollution. That's how their works, all by children. So photography has become a way of showing to the world and educating children. The second way which I use photography to bring awareness, it's all around the Silk Road. Use lens on the Silk Road by UNESCO. For the 8 years now, we are doing it we publish the books. So that's how I'm using photography to bring awareness through my photograph, and also giving possibility to many others, because we all want to keep human alive. And this is the best images of a human alive. Thank you very much. Now, last question. Whose soul you are engineering? Thank you.